ho, you ho. I mean, that's not what I meant to. Anyways, look. Okay. So, hey guys. Josh Reviews. We have probably one of the most popular Christmas horror films right up there with Black Christmas. The original, the classic, Silent Night, Deadly Night. This movie, we're gonna do this because I feel like it works better with what I got right there. This movie, oh man, this is a. If you do not know the backstory behind what happened with this movie, it's an interesting one. So, as per usual, I always got a story to tell with these fucking movies. So sit down and just kind of listen to what I have to say. So, when this movie came out, it got a lot of controversy. At the time, there wasn't really a lot of, well, in fact, there wasn't any Santa-related horror films. We had Black Christmas, which was a Christmas horror film, but there wasn't one relating to Santa. And at this point in time, back in the 80s, I think this movie came out in 1984. I know that, because, but at the time, Santa's only been around for a short period. The image, the icon of Santa. And when this movie came out, it played during commercials, and a bunch of kids saw them. And a lot of angry parents had an issue with the fact that they were making a slasher film with Santa as, the antagonist. So they called and complained, and a bunch of people basically just got pissed and wanted to cancel the film. You can go back and look at several interviews where I think it's actually here somewhere. But nevertheless, there was a lot of this movie gained a lot of controversy when it came out. But since then, actually, one more thing, it got pulled out of theaters. I think it was 2 weeks while it was in theaters, or maybe it was shorter. Nonetheless, it got pulled out of theaters, and the movie did surprisingly well at the box office. And they claimed they pulled it out of theaters because it wasn't commercially valuable or some shit like that. But it literally outperformed Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. So I call bullshit, but whatever. The movie is heavily beloved now. I mean, you got a few people here and there that don't like the movie, but me, I love it. This movie is the definition of perfect slasher. It's got everything you want in a slasher. It's got brutal kills, but it has a good story. Oh, and it's also got nudity. So for people who like to see that, you perverts. This movie has it all. It has interesting characters. It's got nudity. It's got gore. It's got blood for all you gore and, perverts. But nevertheless, this film is the definition of a perfect slasher, in my opinion. The reasons I like it. Well, first of all, it takes your standard conventional slasher plot about a killer going out and just killing random people. In this film, it makes sense. I would kind of describe it as the Joker of Christmas slashers. Because in Joker, you actually see the progression and how he became Joker. And in the first 20 minutes are surprisingly really slow paced. I mean, I don't want to say slow paced because there are plenty of films that are just fucking slow. And okay, the first 20 minutes is set up. It's set up for what's to come. And the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, we get to see, how things have gone along with Billy. The main character, Billy, him and his baby brother one night have to witness their mom and dad get killed by a Santa Claus, and he's traumatized with his the image of Santa killing his family. So he grows up and becomes a Santa at a toy store, and kids that sit on his lap, he's like, "Have you been good or have you been naughty?" He's like, I punish those who were naughty. Like, he believes he's Santa. He becomes the very thing that traumatized him, and he basically after that point he goes and kills just random people that he deems naughty. And what I like about this film is it takes your conventional slasher with pretty much take the original Friday the 13th. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but I mean, ultimately, what is there in terms of substance? And I'm not one who typically cares for substance. If you show me just an entertaining film, I'll enjoy it. And Friday the 13th, the original, it does have entertaining moments, but really, there's not a lot there. I know I'm sounding very hypocritical, but these videos aren't scripted, so bear with me. The original Friday the 13th, it's like you got all these likable characters, and they're doing things. And I've said this before in plenty of other slashers, like Hellfest. It's like, you got these likable characters doing random things that don't really add anything to the story, but at least they're entertaining. And the original Friday the 13th, they don't do that much that's really entertaining. They kill a snake in one scene. The only scene that I had fun with was when they played Strip Monopoly, because that one was funny. The way they were talking and working off each other was really funny. It was very, they had a lot of charisma, and they were able to work off each other. But the difference between that one and this one, because this is totally something different, is that we spend time with the killer, and it makes sense. Yes, the victims are still victims. They're not characters. They're not fleshed out. But in the context of the story, it works because in this film, Billy, we get to see his progression. The first 40 minutes is getting the backstory on the villain. And what do people typically say nowadays? People have always said this. The villains are just as good as the heroes. Or is it heroes are just as good as the villains? Nevertheless, why do we like to watch, villains, Why do we like to watch Negan in The Walking Dead? Why do we like to see Joker, go up against Batman? Because we can relate to something, and there's always something that's identifiable about it. And if they're just fun to watch, then yeah. And in this film, you feel bad for Billy. You feel bad, same way how I feel about Corey in Halloween Ends. You, in a way, can identify him because he was just an average person before all the shit went down. And then he becomes this killer and this horrible person. But you feel bad at the same time. And when he starts killing these people that he deems naughty, it's from his point of view. Because, yeah, we don't know these people, but we can assume that Billy is stalking these people because it's on Christmas Eve, so it's only for a short while. But you got to imagine that Billy is actually just watching these people from behind a window or behind a tree. Because there's a point where we get introduced to these two kids just basically, riding on a snowboard or whatever it is. And, these two kids come in to basically steal from him. So you got to imagine that Billy was watching this and he's like, yeah, those kids are naughty. They need to be punished. So he kills them. And it makes sense in the sake of the story because he really truly believes he is this Santa figure, that it is his job to punish those who are naughty. And you feel bad at the same time, but also if you're a slasher fan, you're going to be like, whoa, cool kills, because gosh damn, the blood is... Look, I've always said I don't like blood and gore when it comes to horror films. I appreciate what went into it. I appreciate the prosthetics. I appreciate how it was done. And overall, it is so darkly creative that I just can't help but be like, whoa, that's kind of cool. But not in the way like, yeah, kill that person. I'm just like, okay, that's pretty cool. Same way how we when we play Mortal Kombat, we're like, whoa, this fatality's cool, man. Yeah, this is, So when I see stuff like that in films like this, I'm like, whoa, that's really gnarly. Slasher fans really love this. And, I like slasher films, so yeah, I mean, it's cool to see it. I mean, there's a reason I got all this in the background of the cover, you know what I'm saying? But I think for a slasher film, and, not like Black Christmas where, yeah, it's a slasher, but it's more of a slower paced slasher. with this, because it is a little more conventional, I do give them props for trying to not be conventional, even though it is a pretty... You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. I don't know what I'm fucking saying. What I'm trying to say is, I make no sense. I like this film. I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A. It's a really good film. I think it's a great Christmas horror film. I think if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? If you're a horror fan, you got to watch this. It's a classic. Come on, guys. Like, come on. Just watch it. It's the Christmas season. We only got a few more days left, guys. Come on.